Am I an idiot for kicking my wife and her daughter out of my house? Me, male 32, and my wife Andy, female 34, have been together for about 3 years now. We are married for one of those years. We get along really well. The only problem is her daughter Carrie, 16, female. She is a daughter from my wife's previous marriage. Her father, my wife's ex-husband, died in a car accident about 5 years ago. When me and Andy started dating, we took things really slow. She didn't introduce me to Carrie until she knew things were serious between us. When I met Carrie, she was acting really distant and overall she was mean to me. But I understood that, of course. I tried to bond with her and spend some time together, but I never forced her to do anything she didn't want to do. I told her to address me with my first name and had no intention to replace her father. I just wanted us to get along. Things got better, but sometimes she was rude to me and had some inappropriate comments. I never said anything to her, because my wife told me to just give her some time. Things really escalated after our marriage. I offered my wife and her daughter to live in my house. Andy immediately agreed. Her daughter not so much, but since she was 15 at the time, my wife gave her no choice. That's when the problem started. Carrie would intentionally make a mess in the kitchen, like destroying glasses and plates, and leave the sharp glass on the ground. She would throw things out of the window and insult our neighbors, etc. This would happen like twice a week. I admit I have a bad temper, so sometimes I yelled at her and made her clean her mess, but I never laid my hands on her and never physically punished her. My wife repeatedly told her to stop behaving like that, but it didn't help. This went on for about a year. Last week she had outdone herself. Me and Andy were coming home from dinner and the garage door was open. We found Carrie there and she was destroying my car. I have a BMW X5, so it's pretty expensive. She slashed 2 tires with a knife and scratched the surface with her keys. I completely snapped. I told her evil little being to get the F out of my house. My wife sided with her and said that Carrie is just acting out and I shouldn't call her that. I was furious and told my wife that if she's okay with Carrie destroying my stuff, she can get the F out as well. We argued for about 15 minutes. During the argument I said that I want Carrie to pay for my car and if she won't I will sue her. I have a camera in my garage and have everything recorded. Andy told me I can't do that and that I'm heartless. In response to that I told them both to pack their bags and get out. It was almost 12 p.m. They packed and left. When I think about it now, I know I could handle the situation better and more calmly. But I think this kinda had to happen. We will be having a divorce and I will be seeing a lawyer to sue Carrie for destroying my car. I was just so fed up with her constantly destroying stuff and overall being toxic. I talked about this with my parents and my mom kinda thinks I'm an idiot. So Reddit, am I an idiot? Hey guys, a lot of you asked me how I am doing and for an update. It has been a couple of weeks since the incident. I met with my wife and we discussed everything. She wanted to continue with our marriage and give it a second chance, but I told her I want a divorce. It was very hard for me, but in the end I think it was the right thing to do. I still love my wife, but I don't want to be caught in the middle of all that again. Last year was the most stressful and hardest period of my life and I felt like I had to put my mental health and my well-being first. This wasn't easy for Andy either, but I think she understood. We agreed this would be also better for Carrie. I strongly advised her daughter to get professional help and Carrie has started therapy last week. We went to the lawyer's office and signed the divorce papers. It was really quick and smooth. We had a prenup, didn't share money and our marriage lasted only a year. There are still some small things that need to be dealt with, but it is pretty much over. I also met with my lawyer. We got a rough estimate on that car damage and it's a lot. 2 slashed tires, deep scratches all over the car and a bit cracked windows. It is about $6,000. The average salary in my country is about $1,000 a month, so this is a lot of money. We talked to my insurance company and my insurance doesn't cover vandalism or any kind of damage. My lawyer strongly advised me to go to the police and press charges against Carrie. I wasn't sure about this, but he said if anything goes wrong, this will help my case, so I did that. A couple days after I met with Andy to talk about this situation, we both brought our lawyers to help us with all the legal stuff. I told her my insurance won't cover anything and I want her to pay for all the damage. She said she doesn't have that much money. They moved in with her parents and she is looking for a new place, so she needs all the money she can get right now. I offered to pay for the damage now and she will be paying me back when she has the money. She agreed. Because I reported Carrie to the police, she will have a criminal record, which sucks because it will likely cause her problems in the future. But she kind of brought it on herself, and in a couple of weeks she will be facing something like a civil rights court. My lawyer said she will most likely end up getting a court-ordered psychiatrist and some hours of community work. It has been a really rough couple of weeks, but my amazing friends helped me a lot to get through this all and I'm glad it's over. Also, thank you guys for your judgments and kind messages. You're an idiot. It's just stuff. You ended your marriage over stuff. You clearly never loved your wife and likely were only in it for the sex. When her daughter became too annoying, you lost control and now here you are on Reddit, looking for some validation. You suck. Not an idiot. Good for you for standing your ground. And don't feel bad for reporting Carrie to the police. You did her a favor. If she doesn't get punished when she is young for doing bad things, she will continue to do these things when she is older and only get herself in more trouble. Additionally, being sad, shocked doesn't mean that she can do anything she wants. She can let out her anger, grief by talking. Scratching up someone's car and causing 6,000 euros in damage simply isn't acceptable. Should he have said those things to his stepdaughter? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I an idiot for telling my 7-year-old the truth about his mother? When I was younger, I had a casual sexual relationship with a woman, Sally, I met at a restaurant. We had sex more than 5 times but less than 10 times. I texted Sally on a Friday night, which is when we normally hooked up, asking if she wanted to meet up, and she told me to lose her number. I did, and later found out she was pregnant. I contacted her again to see if the child was mine. She told me it wasn't and that she would be getting an abortion anyway, and once again told me I needed to lose her number. I moved on. One day I got a message from Sally's mother. She accused me of abandoning her daughter and my son. I told her I had no clue what she was talking about. She informed me that she had been taking care of Sally's son since he was 4 months old because Sally had a drug issue. At this point he was 1.5 years old, and she, grandma, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. She said she couldn't do it alone anymore. I ended up getting a DNA test and found out I was the dad. His grandmother passed away shortly after I took custody. He's 7 now, 8 in August, and has been asking about his mom a lot lately. I have always told him that his mom left him but wasn't able to take care of him. He has accepted that answer until recently and wanted more answers. I decided to be honest. He asked why he had to live with his grandmother before living with me. I told him, your mom and I weren't talking when she was pregnant with you. I didn't know she had you until your grandmother told me. After that I did everything I could to get you. He asked if he would ever be able to see his mom again. I said, I don't know. I don't even know where she is. She has a sickness called addiction. Sometimes when people are sick like that they make decisions that no one understands. That doesn't mean she doesn't love you though. He cried a little and said he hopes his mom gets better. I was gutted and called my mom. She said I shared way too much and hurt him. She said I should have shared much less and stuck with the she couldn't take care of you line even though he was asking for more. Update. I was overwhelmed by the amount of replies. I did get a lot of people calling it a validation post. I didn't mean for it to be, but it was nice to see so many people say that I wasn't an idiot. It gave me some more confidence in my parenting. I don't know much about kids or parenting and am kind of learning on the fly here. Seeing as in my mom's reactions made me think I ruined my son's innocence. I have decided to get some parenting counseling for myself to help me navigate different challenges. For my son, I talked to him about joining a group for kids who have parents that struggle with addiction. We have a center here that does a weekly group session for kids. They separate it by grade, so my son will be with about 10 kids around his age dealing with the same thing. The coordinator said the group has everyone from kids who have never met their drug-addicted parent to kids who see their drug-addicted parent every day to kids who have lost parents to addiction. My son is very interested, and I am glad he'll be able to see that he isn't the only kid dealing with this. Not an idiot. But you can stop stroking your ego. You only came here to dump on your ex and get validation for doing what anyone would do. You don't like your ex and couldn't wait to spill the truth on your son. I hope he has better self-control than you do. Not an idiot. It sounds like you found him a great resource and you've been honest and thoughtful. Parenting doesn't have perfect answers, but you're doing the best you can. You weren't the idiot, and I get why it wasn't a validation post for you. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for refusing to buy food for anyone in my household anymore? Everyone eats my food. If there are leftovers, take out. My dad and sister will pick it off until there's just a little left for me. If I buy food and keep it in the fridge until my mealtime, they'll ask each other if they can eat it. For example, I had a sandwich. I ate half of it, and literally announced, I am going to save this for dinner. When I get back home, everyone acknowledges what I said. So I come home, it's gone. I ask where it is. My mom said that my sister ate it. I asked her why she ate it. She said our man told her she could. So I go back and ask our mom why she told my sister she could have it, and she says, oh, I didn't think you wanted it. So I start leaving notes on my food. Then it's oops, sorry opus. I didn't see the note. Or well, I was just so hungry, but there's this in the fridge. It's not that our parents don't buy groceries either, but I work so much that by the time I can sit down and enjoy food, most of it is gone. It doesn't matter who bought the groceries, it's the same way even when I buy them. So now I'm refusing to pay for anyone's food. Ever. I'm just so frustrated. I literally cried a little bit because I'm so tired of all the food being eaten. I'm so hungry. I think I have tasty food at home, and it's gone. All I've been eating lately are bologna sandwiches and 99c/instant ramen. Of course, everyone in my family thinks I'm being petty and immature. My sister is upset because she gets like $30 a week from her job. She's 15, and I get paid almost 10 times that. I don't think I'm being immature. This is the only other way I can think of getting my point across. That all said, I would be lying if I said I didn't feel a tiny bit guilty. Am I an idiot? Update. So I decided I wasn't going to get a mini fridge for my room, but I did get a little cage for the family fridge to keep my leftovers in. My Mac thinks it's ridiculous but accepts it. My dad, surprisingly TBH, thought it was hilarious, and it made my sister really annoyed because she thought I was overreacting. As for everything else, I went to Target and got a storage box to keep my snacks in and put it in a safe spot in my room. Many people's comments made me realize that my issue at hand was far bigger than my family eating my food. So at dinner I talked to everyone at once about how I felt towards their food thievery. My mom was immediately regretful, and I do believe that she feels bad. She offered to immediately replace the food that was eaten, but I said it was okay. I don't want compensation, I just want it to stop. My dad, I'm not sure if he feels bad, but I did remind him that out of the two of them, I'm the only one that actually leaves the house and works on their feet. They work from home, so I think that I'm entitled to having my own food without worrying about it going anywhere. He seemed to have gotten the message. My sister didn't take it well. I'll spare the details, but it was a long and loud rant about how she doesn't eat that much of my food, and I was starting to annoy her. I don't eat as much quantity-wise as the rest of my family does. Apparently her logic was that since I'm not currently eating it, it should be okay for her to eat it instead. My mom tried to help me explain my feelings to her, but she started yelling louder and stormed away. Her attitude is a different can of worms for another day. In the end, I am very confident that that situation has been worked out. I'm glad that I was able to successfully communicate to my parents about how I feel, and that I now have a system put in place where I can actually eat the food I buy without having to worry about someone else taking it. Not an idiot. All due respect, but your sister sounds like an entitled brat. Keep an eye on your food and your room even with your new measures in place. Her attitude towards it, the whole if you're not eating it, why does it matter? Poop, is indicative of a hell of a major issue. She doesn't seem to understand boundaries. What does she expect you to do? Scarf down everything you buy as soon as you buy it. Get real. She needs to keep her hands to herself. Not an idiot. Just a heads up. A mini fridge in your room would be an out of sight, out of mind situation, whereas a cage in the fridge will be a constant reminder of the issue, and it'll likely start to annoy your parents once the novelty wears off. They're kinda bulky. So brace yourself for yet another discussion in the near future. I wish you patience. Stay firm.